Hello guys, welcome to our C++ tutorial where we'll be covering while loops and if statements. Now guys, I will advise you, if you haven't watched the tutorial video for loops and while loops, you can go back and watch those videos because they are very important, as everything that we are doing from now onwards is going to be based on these two loops. So today we are going to be looking at the while loops and the if statements. Now I won't explain while loops. I won't explain for loops as we did in a previous tutorial. Now today we are going to be looking at do while loops. Now how do while loops works? They are just like while loops. The only difference is that do while loops, they execute before they can test the condition. Let's say this is our first statement and it has, let's say, statement 2. Now this is what happened, guys. Our loop, remember, our program runs from the top to the bottom. Now what's going to happen is our do while loop, it execute the statement, and after it tests the condition, even if the condition is true, even if the condition is false. For an example, let's say our condition is false here. Remember, this is a conditional statement. Let's say our conditional statement is false here. What's going to happen here is that it is going to execute at least once, and then it comes here to our condition and it checks, okay, fine, our conditional statement is false, then it stops looping. But at least one time it is going to display what we are looking for. Now remember, guys, what we were busy with. We were busy with a number that is less than 6. Now this is what we are going to do. Remember, on our for loop, I said I will always refer to the for loop. Now this is our where we initialize our for loop. Then this is our condition and this is our sentinel. Now it also works in here, guys. We also need all this in order for our do while loop to be executed or to be complete. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to say I less than 6. Then here we are going to print out. We are going to print our I. Now let's do this. Our I is less than 6. Let's do our I greater than 6 here. Let's say it's 7, and see how many times is our loop going to our do loop is going to iterate or is going to loop. Now it is going to loop once and it won't continue to loop. Why? It is because we have a 7 here. When it comes to our condition here, it will see, okay, fine, our I, it is less than 6. It is not less than 6. Then it won't execute. It is only going to print 7, and then it stops there. But then this is a wrong way of doing it, guys. If you can do it here, we might get an error, or we might get an infinite do while. Let's just execute our statement to see what's going to happen. There we go. Okay, fine, it didn't do an infinite while loop. It didn't do an infinite while loop. But then the reason being it didn't do an infinite while loop, it is because of it only went to the 7 and printed 7, and that was it, because that was the only number that was going to be satisfied. But then if you come here, guys, let me quickly stop it from running. If you come here and do a 0, we are going to encounter a problem, because we don't have an increment here, we don't have a sentinel. We are going to have, it is going to print those zeros, 0 0 0 0 0 0 0, infinite. There we go. As I've said, it is going to print those zeros. Reason being, It is because of we don't have I plus plus. It is because of we don't have our sentinel. Now we are going to stop this and do our sentinel very quick. Now let's run it. Now there we go. It printed 0 1 2 3 4 5 as we wanted it. Why? Because of this 0, the first 0, it is going to print it unconditionally, so it is not going to be determined by anything in order for it to print it, because it starts by printing and then it checks the condition. Even if the condition is false, even if the condition is true, it doesn't matter. It executes this first. This statement is the first one to be executed. Let me write here. The statement is going to be executed without checking the condition. This statement is executed without checking the condition. Then here it checks the condition. If you can check, guys, we have this in our for loop, we have this in our for loop, we have this in our for loop. This is very simple, guys. Once you master the for loop, you are done with the do while loops, with the while loops, with the while loops. You are done, guys. You are done once you master that. Because sometimes you'll be told to convert a for loop into a while loop. Sometimes you will be told to convert the do while loop to a while loop or to a for loop. So it is interchangeable. So I hope you understand. Let's quickly jump into our if statements, our conditional statements. Or before we can jump into our conditional statements, let me quickly show you guys what I forgot to show you. You will just run it into all the programs. Let's just say here you have a minus. Remember, when you have a minus, it's going to say it's I minus 1. This is how it is going to do. Whatever the number is here is going to minus. But here, it means we must have a greater value. Let's say our 6, we put our 6 here. Then here it is going to be greater than 6. Let's execute our statement and see what we are going to have. Here, let's say minus. Sorry about that. Our number must start from 6 going downwards. Okay, fine, guys. We have an error here. It only executed 6. Let's check where did we went wrong. So the reason, guys, why it ran one time here is because of this condition. Our condition is, say, 6 is greater than 6. When 6 is greater than 6, we have to loop. And in this condition, our 6 is not greater than 6, but our 6 is equals to 6. But then, how can we change that in order for our loop to run? We can say, we can put a 0 here. Now, our 6 is greater than 0. But then, while it's greater than 0, we are going to minus from it. Then it's going to say 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, let's execute our program and see what's going to happen. There we go. As you can see, it's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It makes our condition, it works perfectly. So now, guys, let's just quickly jump into our if statements. If statements, guys, it's conditional statements. So this is what is going to happen. It also works with Boolean, guys. If this is true, then our statement will execute. If this is true, our statement will execute. But if this is false, our statement won't execute. Why? Because of this will be false. Then let's quickly do an if statement. Let's say if I is less than 6, then print our I, end of the line. Print our I. If I is less than 6, it means we have to have a 0 here, because if you can say 6 like this, it won't execute this statement. It won't execute this statement because our I is not less than 6. Our I is equals to 6. So now let's just put a 0 here. Then we run it. It should run from, oh, okay, we didn't have a sentinel, guys. We didn't have an increment. Let's quickly do our increment here, I++. Then we run it again. It should say 1 up until 5. Or let's just check what is an. Okay, fine, guys. The mistakes that I made here is to use the concept of loop in our if statements. Now, guys, our if statement always run one time. It doesn't loop a number of time. It doesn't have a sentinel. It loops. It runs one time. It's not like a for loop. It's not like a while loop. It's not like a do while loop. These ones, they loop. That's why you have loops here. They loops a number of time. But this one is satisfy a condition. It only satisfy a condition. If this is true, it execute. If this is false, it doesn't execute. I'm not sure if we are on the same page, but then let's just run it. We'll see we have our, it will only run one time. It will only run one time, which is 0 time here. It will only print this one that we have, our initial value. Why? Because of it's what we printed. But then this is what you can do. Most cases in if statement, we enter, let's say enter the number, enter any number. Let's say enter any number from 0 to 6. Then we do this. We see in, we say I. Then we don't initialize it here. Then this is what we are going to print. Then let's run our program. My IDE, guys, is a bit slow. Just be patient with me. Just give me a second. So what's going to happen here, guys, is if we see in or we enter a value of 1 here, it is going to print 1 here. If we enter 2 here, it is going to print 2 here. You understand? But then there's a way that if ever maybe a person enters a scope or a number that is beyond 0 and 6, then we can use an else, which I will later do it, an else statement to show how it's done. Now it's 1 here. I've entered a 1, it printed a 1. If you enter 2, it is going to print 2. It is going to print 2, just like that. But then let's just enter a number that is out of 6 and see what's going to happen. That is not between 0 and 6, which is 7. You see, it doesn't print anything. But then we can do this. We can say else statement. We can say else count I. Then here, if we press 7, our 7 will be printed here. Because of what? If this condition is false, this one is going to be true. This one is going to be executed. If this one is true, this one is going to be false. Is interchangeable. If this one is false, this one is true. If this one is true, this one is false. This one won't be executed. Only one statement should be executed. So in our next tutorial, guys, in our next video, we will be showing you guys nested if statements. I'll be showing you guys nested for loop. I will be showing you guys nested while loop statements. So after this tutorial, you must make sure that you watch the next tutorial that is coming. So let's just enter 7 here. So you see it printed 7. Reason being is because of this else statement. If this is true, it is going to execute the first statement. Let's say this is the first statement. But if this is true, this is true. But if this is false, we're going to is only if this is false, we are going to the second statement, and if it's true, we are going to the first statement. Hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. See you on the next one. If you don't understand anything, you can comment, send a message, send the questions. I'll be there to assist. See you on our next tutorial.